So, if you don't mind standing about right here for me, I'm just going to check your eyes briefly here. Within the last 24 hours?
Probably a little bit.
Okay.
So, whatever, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what I'm going to have you do is you're just going to put your feet together just as mine are, like that. Your arms are going to be down to your sides. So if you don't mind sticking like one step forward a little bit. Perfect. All right. So what I'm going to have you do is you see the tip of my finger here?
Yeah.
You're going to follow the tip of my finger with your eyes. Your head is going to stay just as it is right now. I'm going to move it a couple of times in front of your face. So just keep trying to track the tip of my finger as much as you can. If you need to blink as many times as you need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can you see the tip of my finger here?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to make a circle in front of your face. I'm going to bring my finger close to your nose, but I'm not going to touch you. Just try to keep following the tip of my finger, okay? All right, one more time. Perfect. All right, you can relax. Sorry? Yeah, it's you guys are both actually really lucky that the crash wasn't a lot more serious than it was in terms of injuries. Because there's crashes that I've been to a lot less damage than this, where people have turned out more seriously injured. So the next test that I'm going to have you do is fairly simple. I'm going to give you 3 different instructions. What you're going to do is you're going to start off with your feet together just as mine are. Your arms are going to be down your sides. The first thing I'm going to say is look up at the sky. The only thing you have to do is just look up at the sky just like that. Then the second thing I'm going to say is close your eyes. So you're going to just close your eyes like that. And then the last thing I'm going to say is begin. Once I say begin, the only thing you have to do is estimate 30 seconds inside of your 30 seconds have passed. Open your eyes. Just say the word stop verbally. That way I know you're done with the test. All this test is designed to do is just test your internal clock, nothing else. So do you have any questions about the test itself before we begin it? Okay. Did you understand the test? Yeah. So feet together, arms on your sides. You're going to look up at the sky, and then you're going to close your eyes, and then I'm going to say begin. And then once you think the 30 seconds have passed, just open your eyes, look at me, and say the word stop verbally. That way I know you're done with the test.
They took off from here as soon as that one came out.
So go ahead and look up at the sky for me. Close your eyes.
No, we're on eval right now. Yeah.
And begin.
So what was like? So yeah, we might be here up here a little bit. Yeah, nobody's finding any injuries. Yes. Okay. Okay. Oh, that was actually really spot on. 30 seconds. grab my notepad from behind you, sir? Yes, sir.
Do you think you're physically able to balance on one foot or another? No. Okay. Yeah, I don't want you to injure yourself if you can't. Would you be willing to do the breathalyzer test? Well, no, I've only essentially done 2 tests, but I have to do a couple. And rather than waste your time and do a bunch of different tests, if we just do that one, that'll be... most of them require balancing, and I wouldn't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. So the balance test, what it's going to require, so I'll explain it to you, and then you let me know if you're okay or you feel comfortable performing it. So if you want, you can watch me. I'll explain it and demonstrate it to you.
Car's all set.
So you're going to start off with your feet together just like that. Your arms are going to be down your sides. What you're going to do is you're going to lift one foot off the ground about 6 inches, just an approximation. You're going to make sure your foot is parallel to the ground. You're going to look down at the raised foot, and you're going to count out loud. It's going to be in the manner of 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on until I tell you to stop. The test is fairly short. It's less than a minute long. So it's going to look exactly as I'm going to show you right now. So arms down your sides. You're going to lift one foot about 6 inches off the ground. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Sometimes people will do this and they'll bend their knee. So just make sure your legs are straight, just like that. So some key things to remember for this test is make sure your arms are down to your sides. Make sure your foot is parallel to the ground, raised about 6 inches off the ground. So you're going to look down at the raised foot and you're going to count out loud in the manner that I explained. Do you think you're comfortable enough doing that one? So you can't grab onto the patrol car though. So you can try both feet out if you want. I'll let you start. You can try the test with both feet. I'll give you like a pre-trial run, for lack of a better term. You can try it with both feet, see which one you feel more comfortable with, and then once you're ready, just let me know. Are you sure you could complete the test? Okay. Because I really don't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. That's the last thing I'll... Right, but that defeats the whole purpose of the test, grabbing onto a patrol car. You seem pretty shaky on your legs, and I don't want you to fall over. So.
Well, I'm not going to fall over. It's just a question of
right. Well, just based on what I'm seeing, I don't feel comfortable having you perform the test because I don't want you to have the potential to fall over and hurt yourself. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish. So we'll do a different test. So the next test that I'm going to have you do is it's called the finger count test. It's very simple. So just don't do anything yet. Just watch me. So you can use left hand, right hand, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. What you're going to do is you're going to touch the tip of your thumb to the tip of every finger. Okay, so it's going to look like this. 1, 2. So don't hold on. So you're going to touch, like I said, the tip of your thumb to the tip of every other finger. So it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's one set, and I need you to do 3 sets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. So sometimes people get mixed up between the tips of their fingers, which would be this, and the pads of their fingers. So people will do that, but just make sure you're touching the tips of your fingers. So Do you understand the instructions? So, do you understand? Okay, perfect. Okay, so just make sure you're counting each time you touch your finger. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, and that's 3 sets, the way I explained it. Any questions before we start touching? Okay. All right, so go ahead and stand up straight without getting on the patrol car here. Okay. All right. Yeah, I understand.
I know he's in the middle of something, but if you do, there's a keep up out in there. He's almost done. Give me like 2 minutes. Okay.
All right. Last one here. I'm just going to read this to you briefly. So, I am requesting that you take a preliminary alcohol screening test to further assist me in determining whether you're under the influence of alcohol. You may refuse to take this test. However, this is not an implied consent test, and if arrested, you will be required to give a sample of your blood or breath for the purpose of determining the actual alcoholic and drug content of your blood. So in regular terms, what that means is that I'm requesting that you take a breathalyzer test. It's a voluntary test. It's not a required test. In the case that somebody is arrested for driving under the influence, they are required to submit to a separate test. So sometimes where people get mixed up is when I ask them about this test, which is just generally the preliminary alcohol screening test, or otherwise known as the breathalyzer, is when if somebody does that test, and then I determine that they're still under the influence, and I place them under arrest, then there's a separate chemical test that they're required to take. So it's 2 separate breath tests. Like I said, this one is voluntary. I'm requesting you do it, but like I said, you have the option. Right. But so none of the tests are pass or fail, and a lot of people actually think that they're pass or fail, but there's not. None of the tests are pass or fail. There's just different clues that I'm trained to look for when I'm having somebody do all these tests. And you have the right to refuse that test, but if you do, then I still ultimately have to make a determination of whether I think you're impaired based on your performance on all the other tests. So don't think that the tests were pass or fail at all. They're just clues that I look for in every test. Are you willing to do the breathalyzer test? Right. No, I understand you want to go home. I understand that you want to go home, but you got to understand from my standpoint, right? You're involved in a crash. Right. I smell alcohol coming from your breath. I can see you're very unsteady on your feet. So you see where it's concerning to me? Right. I understand what you told me, but on my end, you also got to look at from my end. I smell the alcohol on your breath. I see how unsteady you are on your feet, and I understand you're telling me that. You also got to understand, from my perspective, there's still a job that I have to do. Does that make sense? No? Okay.
Hello? Hey.
So with that being said, are you comfortable doing the breathalyzer test or no? No? Okay. Right. No, I understand who you are, and I'm not here to try to do anything to draw any negative attention to you. If you've been honest with me, there's really nothing that you should be worried about in terms of the alcohol you consume. If you've been honest with me about your consumption being only 2 2 glasses of alcohol, there's no reason why that amount will put you at above the legal limit. But the way I think about it, right, if somebody's involved in a crash, right, imagine from a standpoint if and God forbid, one of your family members is involved in a crash, and the person who caused that crash has alcohol in your system, you would want that person or that officer to do everything he can to make sure that that person wasn't under the influence, correct? And that's what I try to do with every crash that I suspect that there might be some level of impairment. Just want to confirm that that's not the case. I totally understand. Okay.
Say again?
Okay. All right, give me a second. Let me just talk to that officer over there. We'll go from there, and then we'll figure everything out. Just give me a second.
Once we finish, yeah, so yours is all set, and then we'll finish it up.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
So, I mean, he's really unsteady on his feet, but I'm going to tell you everything that I've done. So, he refused pass, but he's unsteady on his feet. But that could partially be because he had a. I did see some HGN. Sorry, wrong one. So, HGN, no LOC, Mr. Blomberg was spot on 30 seconds. He did finger count, he performed that fine, but in terms of a one-leg stand and walk and turn, well, I didn't even have him do him just because he's constantly grabbing onto the control car just to be able to keep his balance.
Right.
I did see some HGN, and just based on the Romberg. So, what do you think?
You can only go with the totality of all you have.
Right. And he's at fault for the crash, right?
And it's depending on what you saw on HCN, because that's pretty much what you have left.
Yeah.
I've taken everything into account. You have to make the call.